Hi guys, it's Ben.
And Nathan.
And welcome back to the Pride of Villa. We thought we'd try something a little bit different today in the form of a podcast. You know, we thought we'd like to see what this would be like and do more of a general discussion rather than you just watching us for about 30 minutes looking very disinterested. We thought we'd just provide the voice only and have a more general discussion rather than try and force ourselves into it, and hopefully come out with something that might be interesting and might be a little bit different. So if you are excited for this podcast, please leave a like, subscribe. Obviously, go follow us on our social pages on Twitter and Instagram as well, so you can see instant match tweets or just any groundbreaking news that we want to cover. But without further ado, might as well just jump straight into this podcast. Nathan, how are you?
Doing alright. Well, you know, as a Villa fan, you're probably going to be a bit depressed at the moment. But saying that, I think once you've taken a few days, as of obviously the Wolves game as well, you can start to see the positives from the game. I know Arsenal was probably the most deflating performance this season so far, but even still, you can see a few positives. And obviously, I am talking the likes of Jacob Ramsey.
The one positive out of the game. You
know, I think it's a bit unfair to say he came on and he redeemed himself with that goal because of what happened the late stages of the Wolves game, obviously conceding the foul which led to the goal at the end. But he's obviously a Villa fan. He came on and, you know, he was a bit of a difference. Obviously Leon Bailey as well. But all in all, that game was just horrendous. I mean, there was a lot to say about that one, but I think I do actually want to just start on the Wolves game, to be fair, because obviously it'll it's because, you know, we started that game relatively well for around 80 minutes, and then obviously the last 10 minutes capitulated. Obviously me and Ben weren't very happy in our instant match reactions. And I just wanted to say straight away, the reason why the comments were disabled on my video is because, you know, obviously we were receiving...
Couldn't take the banter.
No, what it was, right, it got quite bad, and there was a little bit of racism.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what, I can't leave this on. I couldn't be asked to keep deleting the comments, basically, so... I disabled the comments on that one, and now it's actually our most viewed video.
Somehow,
you know, I didn't realise that would happen, but I mean,
I touch on what you say though about the Wolves game in the sense that, you know, we did lose 2-3 to Wolves.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that going into the Arsenal game we all wanted to see was a reaction.
Yeah.
How could Villa come back from this? Because obviously got the win away against Manchester United. A lot of people were thinking you know, it can work. I know the formation hasn't been great, however it does get good goals, but it can also lead to some bad errors like it did in the game. And you're thinking, you know, yes, it was disappointing to lose to Wolves, it was disappointing the manner it was. But, you know, we've got a good record against Arsenal in the past year and a bit.
Yeah.
As I said, obviously being unbeaten from them since 2019. But then you've also got to look, and I said it in my reaction video, perhaps we probably downplayed Arsenal a bit, because in my mind they're still the same Arsenal that they've been for the last years and a bit, where they still aren't that great.
Even 8th place.
Yeah.
Same old.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, if there's one team we can always do...
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like Arsenal.
I feel like that, like Tottenham, Everton, even Leicester in some parts. But with Arsenal, it's because the last 3 games, they even scored 1 goal against us. But I think it was always going to happen. At some point, they were going to have that reaction. But saying that, we were terrible. We honestly, the first 10 minutes,
I cannot believe it. The first 5 minutes, I believe there should have been 1-0 up already. I sat there and I thought, this is just not working. I think going back to the start, obviously, team news came out completely unchanged. Now, I sat there...
Bit disappointed.
I sat there on the Villa Roundup and I said, you know, we all want Bailey to come back. It's a video worth discussing on its own how important he is. But he's somebody you can't play from the start because you will just burn him out.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it was understandable. The issue I have is, and I think this is a very valid one, is House not in for Tuanzebe.
Yeah,
Again, has
exactly,
an excellent game against Man U, pockets Ronaldo.
Not bad against Tottenham either.
Wasn't bad against Tottenham. But then all of a sudden Tuanzebe's come back in, who, you know, I don't think it's a bad player. I like him for what he did. It's just this season, and it's as someone said, if you sign him for a third time on loan, surely that should tell you that he's not good enough. Although Jack Harrison from Leeds was a different story, but he's not really been good. But yeah, I sat down and I thought, so we're playing the same formation, we're playing the same players. Buendia as a number 10 doesn't work, although it did have a bit more of a better effect at Wolves. It's not going to work. Ings and Watkins, the partnership doesn't work. I sat there and I'm thinking, well, I saw Leicester against, I believe it's Slavia Prague or Spartak Moscow in Europa League. You know, Patson, Daka and Iheanacho. Look at that partnership. That's what ours should be.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, I'm not really massively that confident now. Go into the game. And what you get the first 10 minutes, absolutely ropey. Passes being misplaced. Everyone's getting bullied off the ball. Defensively, we look at shambles. We've got Matty Cash playing further forward than some of our midfielders. Buendia just looks anonymous. And then you see them thinking it's just going to be a matter of time. And then what happens? First goal goes in. It's Thomas Partey of all people, who I don't think's been that good, but he gets his first ever goal for Arsenal.
First ever goal, yeah. Which shows you everything, don't it?
And then you watch it and you're thinking, well, that first goal then, you know, I know a lot of people want to say Mings' fault there, but it's McGinn really. I think it's, well, our tactic seems to be just mark whoever you want, because it seems to be doing that, because McGinn's marking a lot of tall people when it comes to corners, and look what he does, he completely ducks down, he doesn't even go for the jump, and Partey's got a free header there. Obviously, well, just throughout the game, just nothing changes. We don't do anything. We didn't have a shot on target. We didn't have a shot at all. And I'm just sitting there and thinking, Mings is fouling about targets, fouling about McGinn's fouling about. Someone's going to get a red card. I'm surprised we didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and thinking, this is just terrible. And then obviously they get the penalty decision, whether you want to look at it or not.
I don't think it's even worth debating.
Wait, I was going to say, what do you think?
Well, I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know, it's not a penalty in my opinion. But then again,
it's a hard one because I think the way he's gone for it, the way he's just whipped that leg around, the way, and considering he's already been failed to get the header clear because Lacazette's been small and used his body to play off him, it's a rash decision to make. But looking back at the footage, especially looking at Holy Trinity, if you want to go check him out, he's got some really probably the best analysis of Aston Villa. He shows multiple angles of it. He's clearly missed him, and he's there like, it's a fraudulent penalty, it can't be allowed. And I'm there like, well, yeah, that makes sense. There's also obviously the case of, you know, the whistle should have been blown. It wasn't. It was half time. There's a lot of things to it. I think ultimately it's just one of those we just had to deal with. Obviously Martinez would save it, but get a rebound and go in, start crying. I think that completely summarised the game for me. Just it just didn't deserve it. I sat there and I thought there are players in there that don't deserve it. There's some of them that we've said it from time to time, they're just not good enough. And then you're thinking, we can all see it. It's the formation. It doesn't work. He makes a good change at half time. Bailey comes on, obviously, nice to see. And then what happens? 5-10 minutes later, Smith Rowe goes up the other end, scores.
A wonder goal.
And that's pretty much the game. So you're sitting there, you're like, oh, fuck it, it's McGinn. He's giving the ball away in midfield. They've had to counter and they've just completely out of step. It's like I said, there's just no point in watching. We still didn't have a shot on target. And then obviously Jacob Ramsey comes on, El Ghazi comes on. There's something else I want to talk about at the end of the game.
I heard a few things.
I've heard a few things as well.
Morgan Satchel.
Jacob Ramsey, obviously nice bit of play. It's pretty much Leon Bailey. The whole of that half for us was Leon Bailey. Yeah. Jacob Ramsey hits it sweetly, edge of the box, top corner.
He scored himself though.
And I said in my interaction, the only positive you can take from that game is a wonder goal from Jacob Ramsey's first ever goal from Villa. Something he's deserved completely.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're coming out of this with a lot more questions than answers. Now, what did you make of it? Because obviously, as I just said, I've pretty much rambled on. But what did you think?
I'll start with a penalty. I mean, you can debate all you want, but at the end of the day, Arsenal will wait. They were just the better team, and I hate saying we deserve to lose.
I think the issue is because obviously,
and it's Arsenal.
AFTV. I think that's the real reason we hate Arsenal that much. But it's like.
Well, what do you think about FTV? Like, I'll sit there and say they only get hits when they lose. But
they do. Yeah. Though, you know what I mean? I agree that
Robbie Lyle can just sit there and say it's not true. It's true.
Some of their best videos they don't always reflect on a loss. But let's go. If you go on the most popular filter on YouTube, I believe the first most popular video is DT's 4-0 rant.
4-0.
It's all rants. I mean, everyone knows it. They thrive off of the losses. Now, admittedly, that's not down to them deliberately losing the game. Because FTV don't affect ones on the pitch. But it's like when you get people, because obviously Ty, very delusional, very respectful to be fair of Villa.
Was it? I couldn't sit there and watch the videos.
I sat there afterwards and I was like, as long as Ty hasn't bloody said who are Aston Villa, I'd be like, you know what? That's fine. To be fair to Ty, as much as I don't like a lot of his opinions, you can't deny. As long as he's respectful about it, that's fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, respectful. That Troops. Because I saw...
Who cares?
I'll tell you what. He had Gabby Abongho on his channel.
Oh, yeah.
And then I look at his Instagram he's dissing him straight away. I was like, you twat. You just had one of the greatest goal scorers for Aston Villa on your channel. Show him a bit of respect. You know what I mean? That's all we want.
But I'm there and I'm thinking, well, Gabby Abongho's a bit of an idiot. Can see what he was saying about Leeds. And he makes himself out as a bit of an idiot. But...
Well, they're going down, though. I'll say right now.
Yeah, they might do, but that's...
I've always said it.
That's something else
for
another time.
syndrome.
But yeah, back to the game, obviously. It's... We're coming out of it with more questions than answers. I think...
I'm sick of it, to be fair.
I'm saying my interview, I'm tired of it. It's been inconsistent. I'll say it and I'll say it again. Apart from Man U and Everton, where have we played good this season?
It's weird though, isn't it?
We've got less points than we had in the relegation fight season, which I think is ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, we had less points then. We've got less points than last season, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be a team that's better without this star man that we've lost. And we're ultimately now sitting there thinking, well... Yes, it can come down to the players, but what you've also got to think is who's the one that's doing this, and it goes back to it now. Dean Smith, he's lost 5 games this season, 3 in a row. The formation isn't changing. The football's not great. I know what he said about we haven't had a fully fit team. Who are we missing?
Well, right now...
Trezeguet's not going to come on.
Well, apparently he's ready to...
I know, he's in training again, but is he... Are you seriously telling me he's going to break through? Considering the formation we have been playing, where does he play?
Well, I'll say right now that we're missing Traore and Trezeguet, 2 wingers, right?
We're missing Traore.
Well, we're definitely missing him because obviously, as much as people think he's like... average to
he's hit or miss.
He's done quite a lot for us. He's like very underrated last season, but then again, I don't think that's an excuse anymore. Like,
it's not what
something's happened in that dressing room. That's all I can say. Something's happened. It's completely knocked our confidence. I can't sit there and blame Dean because obviously.
But do you not blame?
What could he do for the last 10 minutes against Wolves? You know what I mean? That's just complete mindset of everyone.
Well, no, because I go back to that and say, well, why is bringing on Ashley Young instead of House?
It's because what happened with
No, yeah, again, but isn't Conzo able to play right back?
He could. I mean, he was actually. I think he came on as right back.
He's played. That's what I'm saying.
Brentford. I could be wrong about that.
He's played right back before, but the way we're playing is poor. You know what I mean? I know I joke about it a lot last season, but 4-3-3 is genuinely his favourite formation. Why is he not playing? Because it's gotten us so well. You've got wingers.
We've got the players for that now.
Wingers, so why are you not playing them? Buendia, as much as he wants to perceive him as a number 10, it's not working. He was crap again. You play him out wide, that's where he got those 15 goals and 16 assists.
Yeah.
But you got to think, this happens every season. Whoa. Especially this one for a team that's meant to be pushing for top 10, for a manager that's had £100 million plus to spend again. If he's not, you know what I mean, and this is another one for discussion, but if West Ham, I know you're saying they're going to win.
I'm not fully confident.
I'm not. I have no confidence. But my issue is, if we put that past us, what about the Southampton game? If he doesn't win Southampton, how was he even able to stay in the job?
Well, I can't lie. That is when, like, you know, we're going to have a situation. But then again, I can't think of anyone else who's rather in the job than Dean Smith. I mean, you can sit there and say, obviously, the likes of Eddie Howe, Chris Wilder, Sean Dyche, Steve Bruce, not joking, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. But then again, they ain't got the passion like Dean, because obviously he's a Villa fan. And we can't forget what he's done, like last season, Championship, the season before, keeping us up. But I can't fully blame him, because obviously it is the most of the problem is the players. I mean, with Mings, for instance, I don't know what's going on with him. He's our captain. As much as I want him the captain, I do believe McGinn will do a better job. Not saying he had a really good game against Arsenal, but you know
I didn't think Mings was even that bad at Arsenal.
But
I thought it was more Konza that was poor.
It was the full defence. There was a reason that Twanzebe came off. I mean, obviously we changed formation as well, but there's just a lot going on right now. It is so annoying. It really is, because we've got that squad that can easily get top 10. But
then that's the other thing. If we win, admittedly, if we beat West Ham now, we only go about 10th or 9th. But look at that. That instantly puts us back in the mix. But it's what you said there. I'm not Smith out. I think you got to be logical, unless there is, you know what I mean.
Maybe to Norwich then,
because the Chris Wilder's not a bad choice. Eddie Howe, I don't think, bad. Sean Dyche, considering they haven't got a win, surely he's got to be under pressure and will want to go. Graham Potter, I know it'd be a massive pull, but considering he's a Villa fan, there's another good chance there. But
is he actually confirmed that he's a Villa fan?
Apparently, yes. Apparently, it's a natural.
So I've heard things are, but I don't know.
But it's like, this is the guy I want to lead. You know what I mean? It's the guy that I clearly have seen the best football under in a very long time since Martin O'Neill. It's somebody that this is the guy we're just going to have to persevere with. He's not perfect. I think there is a lot of factors that, admittedly, is his fault. You know what I mean? But you got to think, every season, there's always been something. We win promotion, the 10 games. We survive relegation on the last day.
Yeah.
He gets arguably a really great start to the season, some great fixtures that he's won last year. And then this year, considering the calibre of players that we've attracted, if he can get it right, there is a team there that can be unstoppable, but that all lies on him. It's also worth mentioning, going back to that Arsenal game, obviously you talked there about he's lost the players in the dressing room. Now, apparently there has been some news that's come out. I saw it on Twitter. Well, I was saying it there when he brought on El Ghazi. I was like, why not play Sanson? You know what I mean? If you don't like, you can take him off.
Weird choice.
Give Sanson, give him a run out of games. You can see on Twitter, everyone's wanting Sanson. But apparently when El Ghazi came on, Sanson was not happy. He gave the middle finger and threw water bottle at Dean Smith. Which I think is really worrying signs there from the player and manager's perspective, because it's this player you signed in January. There was a lot of high hopes for him, and if just like that after 3 games, his career is potentially already finished at Villa. It's very worrying because we haven't even seen enough of him. There's also House wasn't happy. Mings and McGinn were arguing in the tunnel. It's very much, I know people don't want to say it's worrying times because we're overreacting, but you can't lie when you hear stuff like this, when you see what we see, and when you're considering that the owners we have will not put up with this, and you know they won't, it does make you worried in the sense that what the hell could happen in the next 2 or 3 games.
Well, let's just say it. So we've got West Ham, Southampton, then
Brighton.
and Brighton. So, I'd say there's 7 points in that. I mean, I'm saying a win against West Ham, but then obviously you can easily draw it or even lose. Southampton, you've got to go and win. I think James Ward-Prowse will be back for that one, but we never know.
Well, that's the issue. That's what I've said. If he can't beat a Southampton team that's near the bottom,
There's a lot of players piping up there, like that Livramento.
Livermento's a very good player.
Brozier,
obviously.
Armstrong.
Adam Armstrong, Ward-Prowse. It's a good little team. It's just not.
It's not.
They just keep getting draws.
It's not.
But the issue with that is, if he can't beat that, I don't know. Brighton have probably fallen off form at the start of the season, but they're still a good team.
Oh yeah, I mean,
how the hell, considering the position we're in, all it takes is Watford to win again, like they did. Newcastle. You know what I mean? It takes one of those teams for us to say we're 50. We spent this much money. How does he survive? Now, it's going to be very interesting those next days to say. I'm not confident for West Ham. I have no confidence at all because you know how great they look. Southampton, as I say, I think it's a must-win. I don't want to be worried, but because obviously we're going Sunday.
Well, that's one of the things I want to bring up. I mean, I was saying this yesterday to my dad. Like, I wonder what the atmosphere is going to be for that.
It'll be the same.
But
my issue is, this sounds like I'm trying to incite that people do, but it's like I feel like with Villa fans, it's very much they can put wool over a blind eye. They'll turn a leaf. It's like we can see what's happening, but then people, you know what I mean? 'Cause Dan Bardell said it. I know he's not responsible for it, but I must admit, I do feel like he's a little bit scripted in what he says. In the sense, I just want a bit more honesty from people. Villa on tour, you know what I mean? He knows it's crap.
Well,
but the issue is, he's like, oh yeah, well, you know, I'm reasonable. I'm not an idiot. And I'm there like, what do you mean? Why is it mad to say this stuff? It is not. Right now, it's not acceptable. It's inconsistent. It's not good enough. You know what I mean? There's players falling out with people. On the pitch, it doesn't look great. Players played out of position. All this money's been spent. We're not seeing the best of him. Danny Ings, as much as I like him, he's a player that could have, probably should have gone elsewhere. Because I personally, I wouldn't get the move for somebody that can play Champions League. Why would you go from Southampton to Villa? It's not really much of an upgrade. I know Spurs wanted him, but let's face it, be on the bench. Leon Bailey, the exciting talent he is, we've already seen the impact he can have. How is he going to manage this now?
He ain't started yet, though.
No, yeah, admittedly he hasn't started, but at the same time,
that man
he's bought him, he's put his faith in him. I just wish he was just a little bit more like cohesion rather than having a Villa fan base that's like people that are clearly not happy with it, and then people who are like, oh, don't be silly. You know what I mean? It's just, I'd rather have just one. Either we all get behind him, which I think we should do, but also be realistic and say and be able to say it's not good enough, it's not acceptable, without being called a loony or an idiot. Now, whether he's going to do that on Sunday will be interesting to see if he pulls out the bag.
What do you think is going to happen then? Formation-wise, go on.
Well, yeah, we'll move on to West Ham then, obviously.
Might as well just have a rant about that.
From what he said, it doesn't sound like he's going to change it.
Well, from his...
from a 5-3-2.
Is that what are you talking about when he came out after the game?
Yeah, from what I've heard from his press conference, he tweeted, it doesn't sound like he's going to change it. Which I think that alone should be sackable. But I think it's obvious 4-3-3. We go Martinez, targets, Mings and Cons. As much as I'd like to see Mings be dropped, you know what I mean? And that's another thing with Dean Smith. His favourites have got to be dropped. He was the same with Grealish. As much as he can play bad, he always has to step on the pitch. Just because he is this superstar player doesn't mean you can't drop him. But I want to see Mings and Konza.
Yeah.
Because as a two, they work so much better than three. Because obviously, Antoine Zebe, less communication, less establishment there. Obviously, Cash on the right. Now, in midfield, I'd still stick with Dougie. I thought he was probably my man of the match for Villa against Arsenal. McGinn you've got to stick with. But who do you then play?
Oh, I'll go Ramsey. I mean,
I'd go Ramsey. Before he got dropped, what did I say to you? The improvement we've seen compared to that.
He's got a drive to him. That's what I love now. He's got a drive.
That's what I'm saying. I thought last season he was very green. I thought it was very obvious to him, but he was a player that, considering all the youth talent that's coming through, this is the one that is clearly the highest on the pecking order, along with Chuck Wemaker. But
now we're seeing it.
And Philip Jimenez, but we're now seeing it. He's got to play.
Yeah.
Scored the goal. I don't see why he dropped. Considering you put that much faith in him.
Yeah, you can't drop him after that as well. Actually.
So we're in great. But would you play him as the 10? Would you move McGinn into that 10?
I'll put McGinn into it. I think he's not quite there for the 10, but one day, probably this season, coming to the end of the season, we'll go there. But yeah, I think Bailey has to be on the bench. I mean, I don't want to stand there and like slag him off, but you know what I mean. I don't think he's ready. You know what I mean? He's like
Barry or Buendia? Do you mean Buendia? Well,
don't think he's ready.
Well, let's move on to that front three. Then, what do you go with? I'll give you mine. On the left, we go. Actually, no. Right, I'll start down the centre because I think you play Ings down the centre.
Yeah.
As much as I like Watkins, it doesn't say Meyer actually getting. They're both number 9s. They both want to play down the centre, but you don't bring Ings in to bench him. Yeah. And he can score goals. We've seen he can. So he starts on the right. I would then go Bailey. No, I would no. I see. This is why it's so difficult. You've got to get. I would play Buendia on the right just to see what he's like, and then if he's failing, I'd bring on El Ghazi or Watkins. Actually, probably Watkins because he's played as a winger there. Buendia, as I said, he's got that. That's what gave him that confidence. That's why he signed him from Norwich because he did so well on the right, and then I played Bailey on the left.
So you benching Watkins?
Yes.
Oh,
it's hot. I love Watkins, but let's be real. Admit he's had like 3 or 4 games. I know people are slagging him off.
But I want to say what my reasoning is for.
Go with your front three then.
Well, alright. So my front three, I'm sticking to Watkins down the left. I think he even said once he likes that role. Obviously, Danny Ings down the middle, and then Bailey on the right. But with Watkins, I think the reason is he has just become a dad. He's losing sleep.
It's not well. Yeah, there was also the injury. But my issue was he was getting slagged off after he played 3 or 4 games. Choking on the hair there. It's 3 or 4 games that he's played, and he's not really had much of a chance. I think that was my issue with Watkins last season. I didn't see this goal-scoring machine I saw for Brentford. Now, admittedly, new league, new team, it's going to take time. But considering the goals he did get in the end, but look what he had feeding him off. He had Grealish, he had an El Ghazi or a Traore, he had a Cash. And that's why 4-3-3 as well, because it allows Matt Targett to stay as a left-back rather than a left wing-back, because he can't make the runs up and down. But also establish that connection with either whoever plays on the left, and same with Cash. But he's got to find that balance. We've got to see Buendia as a right winger.
I don't know.
And then if he doesn't, then I would then say, you know what, maybe bench him, let him focus on his game again.
But then you've got Sanson as well.
That's what I'm saying. But the issue,
we've got a bench.
There is a bench, but it comes down for the manager to actually play the formation, and then it also comes down simply from the players. Don't retreat, don't stop pressing, because I think our best form of defence is attack.
Yeah.
Just keep going for the 90, and you'll get a result out of it. And I think, as I said, West Ham, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think the fans will do it.
Fourth in the league. I think real possible potential for Europa League this season. Great squad.
I think it's not seen a goal ever.
I think they have.
With Lavi, it's only one.
Well, yeah. But it's a team that, although not great depth, it's a really good team. Moyes has really changed them around. I have no confidence just because of what I've seen. If I could go with a score, I'd go...
Battle of the Claret and Blues.
Well, I want to back it, but 3-1.
To it?
West Ham.
Oh, you dirty boy.
What would you go with?
Oh, I ain't saying that. I'm saying 1-0. I'm going to go 1-0, and I'm going to go either Bailey to score or assist for Ings. I think the main players will be Ramsey. I think he's going to be like one of them confidence boosters going into the game. I think we're going to see a really good shift in defence. I mean, you're at Villa Park again. I think the fans are going to be really loud, and I think they know at this point it's either a performance or there's going to be some big changes. I mean, I don't like talking about people getting sacked or anything, but when the players aren't playing right, everyone looks towards the manager. It's always the manager who gets the stick. And I don't want to see that because I think Dean is like a top 10 manager in this league. And people don't obviously assume it's a player's fault. So you're talking obviously the likes of Mings. He hasn't really been good at all this season. And obviously Bailey's he's just yet to make me think he's worth that money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I'm glad we've got the likes of Morgan Sanson to come on, because I do believe he will be a change as well. I saw him against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup and he looked really good there. And then obviously we've got Bertrand Traoré to come on, because obviously the last game last season, Chelsea, I saw a big change. I don't know if you did, but I saw a big change because obviously the fans were back.
It's just how one-footed he is, so that's my issue.
But I think his performance it goes up when the fans there. And obviously this season he hasn't really played in front of us.
Well, he hasn't played. He's been injured. He hasn't had a chance.
So let's have faith in Traoré, and I do think we will turn it around, because I want to say this as well. Tottenham won the first 3 games, right, and then they lost 3 games. I think 3-0, and then obviously 3-1 against Arsenal. Now we've lost 3 games in a row, and I'm not saying this is obviously going to happen, because obviously we're not Arsenal, because obviously they lost 5 games in a row. We're not Tottenham losing 3-0 in each game, but I think there's going to be a massive change in this one, and I do believe, because obviously we're the underdogs going into this, even though it's at home, and that can be dangerous in itself. So yeah, I'm going to go 1-0, and yeah, I'm going to go Danny Ings. Have it.
Interesting. Finally, I'm going to end on a question. I think we'll do this every time we do a podcast. Think on the spot right now, one player you'll sign for the January transfer window.
Oh, you're doing me again. Right. On the spot, I could say a few, but...
One player.
I'm going to start with you first. I need to think about it. There's one player I can say, but I don't know much about him.
There's 2 players in my mind.
Let's just say this right now. I don't think we're just going to get 2 players. We're going to go 3 players this time.
It's going to be 3. It's going to be, but I want one definite player we should sign this January transfer window. Now, we've obviously been linked with Aaron Hickley, I think it is, from Bologna. The young left back, obviously targeting a new left back, which is fine. Which is fine. Alvarez again.
Goalkeeper from Plymouth,
even though we don't really need one. But Weston McKennie.
There's a few.
There's a lot of big names. Babacar Kamara from Marseille. The one player I would go for, and I think this is very risky, but now thinking of it, Damsgaard.
We were linked with
the number 10. We don't really. I know we've got a lot of midfielders in our team, but do we have anyone that really is number 10?
He's what, like 18, 20?
He's 20. Looked very impressive in the Euros. I think it'd be a lot of money, but
yeah,
I think we could do it for number 10.
I think he was linked with Tottenham as well. But I'm not going to go Ward-Prowse, because
it's never going to happen.
I'm going to go Weston McKennie.
I think Weston McKennie.
He played alongside Ronaldo for Juventus, and I think with that experience alone, obviously he's an American.
Obviously, we've also already tried to have him, considering how he's fallen out favour.
It would be. We'll just swoop him for him, make him a better player than he is right now, and I think it will work. But saying that, I don't think we're going to go for just one player. I don't think we're going for 2. I think we're going to go for 3 or 4. Honestly,
I think he'll go for that
it's
left back.
It's going to be one of them again.
I hope he dresses midfield, and taking into consideration the season, I think if he moves on El Ghazi to Roma, I think I say one wing, he'll probably play someone else. I think he'll go for that goalie in Plymouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's Plymouth and they're in what, League 1?
League 2, League 1.
Well, all you have to pay is $1 million.
Yeah.
Ding dang do. So it is.
Scram it.
I'll scram that. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's obviously overrated. Well, not overrated. He's very rated. They're first in the league as well, and I think they are going to get into the Championship, and I think they'll do quite well. And all in all, I think there's going to be a change for Villa. It's got to happen. It's got to happen sometime. And I think it will start with the West Ham game. I'm not saying I'm going to go on and score loads of goals, you know, going into West Ham, Southampton, Brighton. I think Man City and Leicester's after. But I think we're going to see a big change. And I want that feel from that season. You know what I mean? Just sort of having that go at everyone. You know, we had a really good go against Man City, beating Liverpool 7-2, beating most of the top six. You know, let's just go for that this season. Just keep going for it, you know what I mean? Anything else you want to say?
No.
No.
No, not really. I agree with you there. I think if this is a make or break game, he either kicks on this season with this game, or it goes down a different route. But we will leave it up to the fate of Sunday. Obviously, we'll be there, hopefully watching a win. Yeah,
I want to get some interviews as well saying that. So if anyone sees
if you are interested, at least leave us a message.
Yeah.
On the YouTube or on Twitter. You can see us there. If you see our faces, do ask. If not, otherwise I'll treat you like a crack. But anyway, that is that is the podcast for today. I hope you did enjoy it. I've quite enjoyed it. Yeah, quite a little discussion. It hasn't been forced.
We're probably not going to do it like weekly anyway.
It probably won't be weekly.
Say something big happens.
Yeah,
out quick.
We'll try and get it as quick as we can. As I said, please subscribe to us. Follow us on those social pages.
Get us to 500.
Get us to 500. Let's make it to the 1K. Yeah. Let's push the boundaries. But without further ado, he's been Nathan. I've been Ben. Up the Villa with the pride of Villa. We'll see you later, boys.
Up the Dino.